can we please, as a people, do a little bit more studying and paying attention when it comes to subjects of health and religion? Peace, peace, peace. What's poppin', my peoples? It's your boy Sincere Seven coming to you live and direct from the Psychonaut Academy of Detroit. The Pad, representing the House of Genesis. So listen, I might be a little controversial today. But I gotta come and kick it with y'all because like I just left school, and I ain't gonna lie, I love school. I love going to school. Like I'm not sure if I like teaching or learning more, right? But when I go to school, I am so disappointed because in my classes, when I'm teaching, I'm able to give people the information that they need, the information that they lack, the information that they didn't have, they didn't know. But when I go to learning facilities and places of learning, I am aware of the lack of responsibility that a lot of the teachers take. I'm aware of the lack of responsibility that a lot of the students take. Cosmic Mermaid, what's up, baby? I see you. And it gets just so frustrating, disappointing for me. Like to go to this building, like I'm in school, I'm in college again, and I'm 46. I haven't been to school in 20 years. Fuck 12. Don't have coffee, don't worry about it. Right, so I haven't been to school in 20 years. So when I was there, I was younger and a little bit more immature than I am now. So I wasn't paying attention to school. I wasn't paying attention to the establishment. I'm going in, I'm listening to the instructors, I'm learning different things, I'm applying those things, I'm striving to pass tests and things, right? So now going back to school, school is not really, first of all, I want to go to school to learn. However, I'm learning right now, this is what I'm learning in school, is that schools are not a place for learning. Schools are a place for passing tests. Schools are a place for showing and proving that you can follow, memorize, and repeat. And so the education is not as fulfilling, right? But I am getting to witness a lot of tomorrow's people, right? I'm in school 46 with people who are 20, 19, 21 years old. I'm sitting here going, oh shit, having these conversations going, what are you talking about? And she said, how old are you? And I'm 21. I go, oh, okay, no wonder, right? And so today, which brings me to today. Oh my God. Now, before I go here, let me just be very clear. To any sensitive motherfuckers watching my shit, this is the wrong place for you. If you're sensitive, you shouldn't be here, period. But if you are, and you choose to watch anyway, let me be clear that I'm not dissing nobody. I'm not calling nobody no names. I'm not disrespecting nobody. Everybody was raised differently. Everybody was taught differently. And that's my point and where I'm going. So in school, a picture was shown today of a white Jesus on a cross. And then another picture right next to it was shown, which gave what some people would call voodoo vibes. And the teacher asked, which one of these pictures would you feel comfortable hanging on your wall? And so, of course, when it came to the white Jesus, what I was like, oh, no, ain't no way I'm about to have no white man on my wall representing like my soul's whatever. And so it was a couple people like, what? I mean, what other Jesus you gonna have on the wall? That's who we are used to. The other one looks like voodoo. And the teacher was like, oh, voodoo. Okay. Well, let me ask class, when you talk about voodoo, which words come to mind? What when you get a voodoo, what? And it was like evil and sorcery and demons and all of these horrible depictions, right? So while the conversation was going on, the teacher asked the class who would go to the Voodoo or the Voodoo temple with her tonight at 8:00. And so one of the students said something to the fact of, no, I'm black. We don't do that shit. We know Jesus is our Father and our Savior, and anything outside of that, we not playing with. Something to that matter. So somebody said something about, well, this one, it represents spirit and culture too. And she said, young lady in class said, yeah, but we don't know that spirit. And I looked over and I thought to myself, but you know the spirit of Jesus Christ, right? But I ain't saying nothing. And so as the class went on, the teacher started asking, and two of the people said something to the fact of, I hear you, you're our teacher, we're supposed to listen, but something like, Jesus is my Lord and Savior, and that's all I need to know. And so then the teacher was like, okay, well, what denomination are you in? They were like, Protestant or Pentecostal or whatever. And she started describing where that one came from. Because what they were saying is, we not Catholic, we're Christian. And I was like, what? Same thing. No, it's not. We're Christians. And then so the teacher had to show them how your religion traces back through this, which traces back through this, which traces back to this, which connects to this. And as the discussion got deeper and deeper, the class got, no, not more, less and less interested in what the teacher was saying. Literally, the more information that she gave to these people, letting them know everything that you think that you believe and that you find to be one of the most important subjects as a human on this planet. Because like, if you're saying that no matter what happens while I'm alive, when I die, this needs to happen. So with that being said, I need to do all of these things while I'm alive. That says that what happens after your death is the most important thing to you. First of all, while you're on this planet and alive, being alive is one of the most important things on this planet in consciousness. So your health, or the ability to stay healthy and alive, is one of the most important things. And the second is what you do with yourself after you die. That means the most two important things to the human experience, based off what I'm saying, is your spirituality and your health. Y'all want to know? As long as I've been studying, and as much as I've been studying, and as much as I've been a teacher, the two things that people are the most uneducated in, I bet you can guess based off what I just said, their spirituality and their fucking health. Like, we literally have people that can tell you how many yards Barry Sanders ran during his NFL career, how many home runs Jose Canseco hit during his MLB career, how many songs Jay-Z has, how many Golden Globe Awards Antonio Banderas has, but does not know how their heart or their kidneys work, or whether they have connections to their ancestors or not. Sit on that for a minute. The two most important things in your human existence are the things that you are the most miseducated in. The disappointing part is that that's not disappointing. Being miseducated in something is not disappointing. At 11 years old, I came from Colorado Springs as a young black boy to Detroit, Michigan. And we started school, and not shortly after that, there was a day off of school. And everybody was like, hey, we're not going to school tomorrow. And I was like, why not? And they was like, it's Martin Luther King Day. And I was like, who's Martin Luther King? 11-year-old black boy in Detroit, Michigan asked a group of other black children who was Martin Luther King. So you can kind of guess that that day didn't go well for me. But I bet I know who he is now. That's the part that's disappointing. It's okay to understand that you really don't know where your religion comes from. You really don't know what the foundation of it is. You really don't know how your body works. You really don't know how health and wellness and how diet is more than 60% of your health and wellness. You really don't know these things, but that's all right, because you have the ability to find that out. And when you do, You have the ability to change that. And what I saw today is people who, when the discussions opened up, were absolutely closed to figuring out anything more. They were literally saying things to the teacher like, I hear you, but that's cool anyway, but let's move on. Like, no, I'm trying to tell you that when you say this is what God is to me, and this is what this means to me, and this is how important this is to my life, to the point where all of my children, I will chastise them and whoop them and say things to them if they don't follow in this same brainwashing ideology. And then somebody says, oh, hey, well, you do know that there is a history that's written that tells that where that's from, how it came to be, and how you came to believe that that bullshit is the truth. And the people's response is, man, I don't nobody want to hear that shit. I have never heard a religious person, upon receiving information that explains where their religion is founded and how it came to be, I have never heard a religious person dispute the information. They'll dispute it. They just don't accept it. And to me, that's disappointing. We've had a people who have told people, you are not who you think you are. You are something else. Your existence is based off of this, and your total ideology of yourself, your spirit, and your ideology of your fulfilled component is going to be taught to you by the people who told you was 3/5 human. You know that, right? Yes. Okay, cool. So here's your teachings. And we know that this shit is unbelievable when you look at it. And we call that faith. And the more that you believe some shit that is clearly provable to be some bullshit, your response is, yeah, I don't want to hear that shit. I'm going to continue on the path that I'm on. And it gave me a little bit of insight, because for me, my passion at this point in time is bringing education, integrity, and accountability to the alternative health care community. And now I'm realizing why I'm frustrated in this realm, because people treat their health the same way. I actually heard somebody say, the doctor gonna try to tell me I had so and so and so and so. I ain't claiming that shit. And I understood what they were attempting to do. Kind of like going into the placebo. Like, if you just believe, it'll work. But if they're telling you that your blood pressure is through the roof and that this is inevitable, or your blood sugar is through the roof and that you'll lose a leg, or that your cholesterol or your arteries are 80% clogged and your heart's working at a 20% capacity and you need to stop eating that bullshit, and then they are 2 days later at a Coney Island ordering a double bacon cheeseburger with extra bacon. Matter of fact, let me get 2 of those with extra cheese. This is a real situation that I watched happen. It's almost like, if I'm not going to believe things that make sense when it comes to spirituality, why would I believe things that make sense when it comes to the physical body? Why am I going to believe when a motherfucker tell me drinking two liters of Coke every day is going to lead to destruction? Why am I going to believe that? All I have to do is believe in my Lord Jesus Christ and I will be saved. I can see how those things go together. And I can see how usually sets of things go together. Usually, like, for instance, the overly religious individuals are usually the people who do not listen to medical advice. Whereas individuals who have taken about a certain amount of knowledge, wisdom, and education to figure out how can we say, comfortable and intelligent way of practicing their spiritual practices, they usually step outside of dealing with Western medicine. If I can get you to believe in Santa Claus, I can get you to believe in Jesus Christ. And if I can get you to believe in Santa Claus and Jesus Christ, then throwing the doctor in the white coat and the white mask is here, just that goes with it. This was it's like, if you will believe everything we'll tell you, then we'll supply you with everything you need. We're going to supply you with your religion. We're going to supply you with your health care. We're going to supply you with your lifestyles. Because they all support one another. They all support one another. The Western religion supports the Western medicine, which supports the Western lifestyle, which supports the Western leaders' financial security. It's all a symbiotic event. They all work together. And this is why usually when you find the people who become educated and they walk and they deal with their healthcare differently, they also deal with their spiritual practices differently. If you think about the Black families, there was always that aunt that the rest of the family would say was weird. You know what I'm saying? Oh, she weird. She be on that other shit. She ain't gonna listen to no doctors. She ain't gonna listen. She out there taking some plants and foolish ass. That same person, majority of the time, had different worship practices. Their religion or spiritual practices were totally different. Where everybody else was on church on Sundays and this and that, they either had altars up, right? Or they had their different practices like they yoga, and a lot of people were seeing the yoga and the stretching and the lifestyle that came with it, but they weren't familiar with the meditation and the spiritual practices that happen behind those closed doors. As a yogi is not just somebody who stretches. There is a mindset that comes with being a yogi. There is a walk that comes with being a yogi, and it's not easy, and it's not something that you just can kind of like do on weekends or when you feel like it. No, it's a lifestyle. That's the challenges of being a yogi on a certain level. Like, I am being a yogi, like I know, like, yo, this is like, when I look to certain individuals and how they practice and how they move and how they operate, it looks real simple or real like, but it's like, damn, you got that shit. And now this is the thing about it. This is the thing that I was thinking in class today. Because as I'm hearing the classes predominantly negative outlook towards Black culture, Black art, the Black Renaissance, like everything that's connected to us is looked at like, ugh, right? But everything that's connected to the Europeans is like, oh man, if I could reach that state of, and it's like, yo. And so then there's this disparity, this looking down on and speaking against these type of people, right? Like these people who do voodoo, them foolish ass spirits, evil, right? And they have all these negative connotations, right? And so I'm just sitting there and I'm just listening to all this. And I was like, oh shit, I see how and why it works the way it does, because it was like a quote that was, I was trying to bring it to my mind so I could say it out loud to the teacher, because I know she was going to catch me. And it's something like the like in the 5% nation, we say the civilized is held responsible for the uncivilized, right? But for the flip, it's like the blessed would never be concerned about the opinions of the ignorant and lost. Like, for them to be calling or saying negative things about individuals who are aware of their history, aware of who and what they represent in this world, aware of, you know what I'm saying, who and what they represent in this universe. When you have that type of connection, when you have that type of information, that type of understanding, and there's other people who have absolutely no knowledge of anything that they're doing, when you hear them speak negatively against you, it's more of a compliment. What do I mean by that? So, as a yogi, when I first became a yogi, okay, there was a situation where I went somewhere, and now as a yogi, you know, we're not supposed to have violent thoughts. You're not supposed to have violent conversations, and you're definitely not supposed to practice violence. And so there was a situation where somebody did and said something to me that I found very disrespectful. And it was just me and them in a room. And so I was like, check it. Let me motherfucking explain some shit to you. Don't fucking play with me like that. I don't respect that. I don't like that. Right? So it had some aggression in it, but it was very balanced. It was enough aggression that they could see that, oh, this is serious to them. Okay. So I explained to this person the seriousness of the subject, and they was like, I'm sorry, I won't do that again. Okay. All right. Not, but maybe 6 hours later, we're in a group of people. We're in a room full of people. And something is going on, and this person makes a joke towards the same shit that I just checked their ass about not 6 hours ago. I literally announced to the room, I apologize for my unprofessionalism, but I'm about to get ignorant. That's what I said. And then I turned to this individual and I said, look, motherfucker, I'm not finna keep playing with your stupid ass. And I literally went off on this person on accidental purpose, if that's the thing. Because it was like, I didn't mean to, but I did it on purpose. But it was like, I couldn't not say nothing. And then I didn't want to just be like, hey, and have people like, yo, what the fuck? So I had to approach it in some type of strategic way. So it was a real professional unprofessionalism in an accidental purposeful way. Huh? Don't worry about it. It makes sense if you don't think about it. So, this is the point. Immediately after that, after I went off on this person in front of all these people, I left the room and immediately I'm like, fuck. Right? Like, I just went off on this person and these people are about to be looking at me like, oh, the angry black guy, because I was the only black person in the room at the time. And it was just like, okay, so I'm sitting outside, smoking, trying to calm down. One by one, people started coming outside to me, and this is what they started saying. Yo, I'm sorry that happened to you. I heard about what, like somebody told them he just checked him about that earlier, right? So they're coming to me saying, yo, I heard about that. I can understand why you said what you said. And this is what at least 3 people said. At least 3 people said to me, I would have did the same thing. I would have said the same thing. I would have responded the same way. And instantly, shame just came over my entire existence. I'm like, fuck. I'm operating like a regular person in society. Oh, I'm fucking up. I am not on my yogi shit. There is no way in hell that people should be saying I would have did the same thing. I'm supposed to set the example. So I failed. I knew that that day as a yogi, I failed because normal society would respond that way. And I'm not supposed to be in any way like normal society. So when the majority of the room is dissing what I might say is my point of view or my way of life or my approach, I'm going, that's what's up. I'm on point. I'm on point. Because there was people in there, like we're having class, and 5 minutes later, this conversation been over. 5 minutes later, the dude behind me raised his hand. The teacher's like, yeah, what's going on? He said, can I ask that guy a question? And pointed at me. And the teacher was like, ooh, I don't know if we want to open that can of worms. Let's wait till the end of the class. You know what? Nah. Ask him a question. I'm like, what the? How did I be? He says, man, what's up with you and that statue? He's asking me, why? What's up with you and that? What do you mean? You like after that whole conversation, he came back to it. Like, I want to know, what do you mean? Like, why would you put that in your house instead of white Jesus? That's our Jesus. What's up with you, man? And I told him, we need to talk outside of here. And that's why the 5% is called the 5%. It's the smallest majority, the smallest minority, excuse me. It's the smallest minority. It's a small amount of people who really know the truth. Where the 85%, they following the 10%. The 10%, this is 15% of motherfuckers on the planet that know the truth. 10% of them, they gonna take the truth and mix it up in some bullshit and give it to you in a way that you'll take it and you digest it and you think it's the truth. History, the majority of history in America, right? Politics, the food industry. They tell you about these foods and to eat this shit, and people believe it, right? The medical, like they tell you this is what this is, and this is how you heal from this. Oh yeah, this natural thing that happened in your body because you wasn't doing this. Take this pill, petroleum-based medicine, pharmaceutical, and this will help you. Wait, how the fuck is that gonna help you? How about stop doing the shit that threw the system out the first place? You don't even know the goddamn system work like that, let alone that what you're doing throwing it off. So it's easy to tell you, yeah, this is what the fuck you need. As long as you got this pill and the faith in Jesus Christ, the size of a mustard seed, you're gonna be all right. You got insurance, right? Man, talk to me. I talk back. Talk a little shit, because I talk that, man. So all I'm saying is I invite y'all to stop being so closed off to learning. I ain't even saying that you got to do or even learn other people's shit. Fuck other people's shit. I ain't saying, oh, if you're a Christian, learn about Muslims. And if you're a Muslim, learn about... No. Nah, if you're a Christian, learn about Christianity. If you're a Muslim, learn about Islam. If you're a Buddhist, learn about... Go all the way back to Judaism. All of them, right? All of the religions. Learn what the point of them is. Eh? Learn, and then learn the difference between religion and spirituality. Because religion is for those who cannot be responsible enough to practice spirituality on their own, so they have to rely on something to remind them. Come to church every fucking Sunday so I can remind you how to fucking act. Because I can see by Wednesday you fucking forgot. Because I seen where you was at last night. It was Saturday, and you was busting it open and dropping it like it was hot. Hey, do that then. Do it again. You feel me? Bring a fit. Do it again. But it's cool. Come in here, drop 100 in the offering plate. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry. Drop 10 or 20 in the offering plate. Drop 100 in your tithes envelope. Excuse me. You know what I'm saying? Confess your sins. Testify about the beauty. Get this word and go on back to, you know what I'm saying, the world, but be in the world, not of it. And we'll see you next Sunday. Okay? This is a continuation of something. If you are spiritual, you don't need that, right? And if you're spiritual and you don't need that, then they are going to fail at the income that they are trying to keep coming in. So they're going to convince you that you're supposed to be there. And when you're missing, you're doing something that's wrong. I ain't even trying to be here doing all that. I'm just saying, study whatever it is that you find important. If your spirituality or religion is important to you to the point where you're so focused on what happens after you die, where your spirit and your soul goes, then study whatever it is that you're using as your guidance book for that. Not study the Bible. Study the creation of the Bible. Not religious studies. Study the creation of your religion. Because Christianity did not exist when Jesus was here. See? Shit like that. I don't even want... Watch Zeitgeist. 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 Look that up. If you have no knowledge of none of this, start there. Zeitgeist.com. Watch Zeitgeist. Watch Hidden Colors. Because I ain't even going to start with books. So I'm giving y'all stuff to watch. It's entertaining. Keep your vision. You know what I'm saying? And it switches subjects for those who lose. Well, okay, something else, right? You need something to okay, start again. Okay, so watch Zeitgeist and watch Hidden Colors. Hidden Colors 1, Hidden Colors 2, Hidden Colors 3, Hidden Colors 4, right? Start educating yourself if you're going to call yourself seeing these things as being important to you. Because people will argue about their religion all day, but don't know nothing about it. Them people was ready to argue, but you literally don't know who none of these people are, you don't know none of these saints, where all of these holidays are named after. They're all saints. You know what I'm saying? These saints are mixed in with the Orishas. This is how voodoo got to be where it's at. It in itself is connected to Christianity. And people also don't understand that all of that shit is sorcery. Y'all will sit around and talk about magic and witches and people doing spells and all this shit. And then you will go to the altar, drink some holy water, do a prayer in the name of Jesus Christ and the Father, or sometimes the Holy Ghost. This is sorcery. There's magic, there's mystical arts, and there's sorcery. And by all the definitions of what sorcery is, Christianity is another form of sorcery. It's just the most famous one. Catholicism, like you got all of these people all across the planet Earth worshiping and therefore visualizing in their mind. Mind is matter, and what matters in the mind is what creates. Taking communion. Hey, you feel me, Cosmic Mermaid? Taking communion, right? Eating of the blood. What is it? Eating of the flesh, drinking of the blood? Shit, it get kind of heavy in there. It's all sorcery. That's why I don't be knocking people who are in that no more. Because whether you're dealing with, you know what I'm saying, Papa Legba and Oshun and all of the rest of them, or you dealing with, you know what I'm saying, Saint Valentine and Saint Thomas and Saint Christopher, aka Saint Nick, right? You still doing veneration. You still worshiping the seasons. You still worshiping the sun, Mama Wata. You still worshiping the water. You still worshiping the, like, it's all of it is. And even when you're saying worship, it's like, oh, I don't know, well. And me personally, I'd rather, you know what I'm saying, be in tune with that than just Jesus Christ. Like, what is it? Jesus Christ, Captain Planet? Just all of them combined in one. Captain Planet, forces combined. You know what I'm saying? It's all the same thing. So it's all a different form of sorcery. So even Christianity is still in the realms of magic, mystical arts, and sorcery. They don't want to admit this, but they can't argue with me because they don't know they own shit. And this is why a lot of people are unhealthy, have bodies filled with inflammation, have bodies filled with pain, can't sleep, can't concentrate, can't think, can't be the fuck still, can't shut the fuck up, can't stop eating. You know how many people, when I talk about a 3-day fast, go, you mean without eating at all? If
you look like you about to pop somebody like,
cause
I jumped. Like,
I seen today how people, no, you good, you Gucci. Yeah, it's passion. Okay. It's passion. I ain't gonna hit you now while the camera's on. Feel me? So
I'm going to,
you know what I'm saying? Like, we follow behind and will just listen to anything and believe anything. This is why we think that all diseases come from parasites. This is why we think that as long as we do some elderberry and sea moss, we can get rid of any disease. This is why we think that, you know what I'm saying, fruits that have no seeds in them have no nutritional value. This is why we think that, no, stop, y'all. Stop. There's an education behind everything. Do you want it or no? Now, if not, then cool. If you just cool, then just say that. But leave those of us who are to be and allow us to keep teaching for those who do want to know. For those who do say, wait a minute, yeah, my peoples have been doing this ever since I can remember. My grandma was doing it. Who taught my grandma, and who taught her, and who taught them, and who taught them that this was what's right? And how did it get passed down? Because all of that came through slavery. How are we going to get out of slavery and give everything back except for their mating rituals and their religions? No, you can have that too. I don't need none of that. And then act like because I love my grandma so much, well, since she was doing it, I'm going to do it too. Okay, well, your grandma was doing other things. You want to talk about all of it? Hey, leave people grandmas. See, y'all ain't even had to. All right, now, I ain't even finna. See, now we going too far. We going to, but did I tell a lie, though? Y'all know, if y'all know, y'all follow me, I always say stop me when I tell a lie, not when you feel some type of way about what I said. Because I'm going to bring up some feelings. Hold on. But did I lie, though? All right. So that's it. That's all I want to talk about. If you have a over-religious or a fan of ignorance of medical and health foundational information, you know what I'm saying? Tag them in this. Let them know. Like, let them know. Grandmas was the Eastern Stars and Daughters of Isis. Okay. See, hey, how do I say and going to church? For sure. Now, how do I say self is the measuring stick of a world? So when I throw a comment out there, what was grandma's doing? Bow, that's the comment thrown back. And I agree, because grandma's was Eastern Stars and Daughters of Isis. You know what I'm saying? And going to church. Now, all right, let me see. How do I open this up? What's my opinion of Eastern Stars and Masonry and different things like that? I am pro fraternal organization. I am pro. So I am not pro church, but I am pro organizational. See, these are not religious institutes. The Masons and Eastern Stars are not religious institutes. Now, they are institutes that are sometimes ran by religious people, but the foundations and the teachings within them, although they might be aligned in some ways with certain religious aspects or cultures or knowledge, hey, they not though. Grandma was in the garden and foraging. Facts. That's another place we need to get back to. Them gardens, gardening, and understanding what food is. I had a discussion with my 5-year-old and my 3-year-old daughters just the other day. And I had to tell them, you know them plastic food that y'all play with? They was like, yeah. And I was like, it's play food, right? And they was like, yeah. And I'm like, it's fun. You get the little apple, act like it's an apple. We'll get the banana, act like it's a banana. You get the little plates and sauces, right? She was like, yeah. I was like, well, you know, when you get older, they got play food for us. She was like, what? I'm like, yeah, they got fake food for us. And we can sit and act like we eating and act like, but the difference is you can actually chew and swallow our fake food. She was like, what? And I'm like, yeah, you ain't know that? There is stuff on this planet that they call food. There's not food, and we'll sit and we'll eat it and have fun and everything. Yeah, you want to see some? She was like, yeah. And I went and got the Oreos on the shelf, and I pulled one out and I gave them to them. And I said, this is fake. And my daughters was looking at it, and they was trying to figure out, because it looked like Oreo, like we got fake food, it's plastic. This don't look plastic. And I was like, you can eat it and everything. Go ahead, eat it. And they was like, eat it? I'm like, yeah. And they put it in their mouth and they started chewing it. And they started smiling and said, oh man, you playing. This is Oreo. And I said, see it? You see how it tastes? It tastes sweet, right? It tastes like chocolate and cream and all of that, right? Yeah, it's fake. There's no chocolate in there. No, it's fake. It's been made up. It was made in the factory, and they made it to look like real food, and you can eat it and everything. But if you eat too much of it, you get sick. It's for play. And she was sitting there, she was processing it. And I was telling her, yeah, you know, the chips that we be eating, that's play food. Yeah, that's just for play. Oreos, that's for play. She was like, what about my cereal? I said, your cereal? Let me pull this off. Hold on. I said, pull it down. I said, look, you see this right here? I said, it says made with bioengineered products. You see that right there? That means it's fake. And my 5-year-old daughter was like, and well, what's real food? I said, yeah, real food, it grow in the ground. Yeah, it grow in the ground. Yeah, you can plant it and it'll grow and you can eat it. And I started like, now she's starting to understand, like, this is what food is. This is what I need to explain to the majority of adults, because the majority of us have no idea that this is fake food. No, literally, what I just explained, people have no idea this shit. You just sit and talk, you know, like, oh, you're this and that, and all of this health shit you got going on. Well, what's your diet like? And they start telling you, oh shit, you eating fake shit all day. What? What you mean? Hey, that's what food do you eat? What the last thing you ate grown from the ground? Do you know how many people don't eat shit grown from the ground? Listen, man, and don't come at me like, oh, my hamburger had a tomato on it. All right, cool. All right, I'll give you that. 5% of the shit that you eat is grown from the ground. The little, what do they call them? The garnish. The garnish. You had a burger, you had a pickle with them, the little fake ass fucking lettuce and 2 little tomatoes. So you had a serving of vegetables and fruits. No, the hell you didn't. Because your body is so clogged up from eating all this BS that the nutrients from the tomato and the lettuce and the pickle can't even be absorbed, because your body is not able to absorb the nutrients because of how fucked up and foul your body is from all the bullshit. Hold on. Now, let's just say that I did a detox last week, and so my body can absorb the tomato off of the burger. Well, dig this. If you got the burger from a fast food joint, then that means that the tomatoes, the pickles, and the lettuce that they buy are the cheapest that they can find, which means they come from a monocrop farm, which means that this farm has been growing 300 acres of tomatoes for the last 50 to 75 years, which means that the soil is 100% depleted of any type of nutrients and vitamins, which means that they are spraying bullshit hard, which means that your tomatoes are grown with plant growth regulators, which is basically like steroids for plants. I grow, by the way, so I know what I'm talking about. Like, sustainable farming is where if you're farming certain things in the area right here that deplete the soil of magnesium and nitrogen, but over here you're growing things that give the planet back magnesium and nitrogen, but it takes a lot of phosphorus and clays and breaks them up, then you over here you got a whole 25 acres of bulls and livestock and all of that. So you'll take these sections and you'll rotate them like every 2 or 3 years, so that the actual balance of giving back to taking away in the earth keeps it balanced. When you're monocropping and growing one type of vegetable for acres and acres and acres for 10s and 20 and 30 and 40, you're like those, yeah, that's why they putting all of the chemicals into the ground to cause it to grow. So therefore now you are consuming chemically grown. So there we go back to it again. So you're not really, so our diets, the standard American diet is SAD, S-A-D. Come on, like, educate yourselves, please. You know what I'm saying? This is why we have the education platforms we have here at the Psychonaut Academy of Detroit. This is why we're teaching physiology, anatomy, you know what I'm saying? What happens in the body, disease, how to heal, the healing with the kingdoms. If you are interested in learning these things, you know what I'm saying? Go ahead and log on to venompractitioner.org. Right? Get you some education behind your shit. Be able to sit down at a table with doctors, with nurses, with the best of them, and not be looked at like a clown for repeating some shit that you heard in the community, because our community is filled with miseducation. Lauryn Hill was telling y'all 20 years ago while people was being miseducated, look, y'all motherfuckers being miseducated, and nobody was listening. And now we got a whole bunch of miseducated people trying to run industries. Tell somebody you love them in the language they can understand it in, like knowing what you're actually offering them. Peace. I love y'all, man.